right. All right. We are going live. Oh, dang. We just got some bad fills there. That's never good. Hello, I'm Rob Helmick. Welcome to the 3:30 show, Monday through Friday. We'll be here from 3:30 until about 4:15, going over our trades for the day, seeing where we are on options Omega. We'll be doing all of our bot trades. We did about 175 bot trades today, and we'll go over all of those. We'll take a quick look at our trades that will be going on at 13:51. There's some trades you're hearing going on at 3:30. Like I said, we do about 150 trades a day. There's some more coming on. Isn't that fun? It's all done by the robot. Everybody likes to see where we are. Here's where we are today. Look at this. It's going to be close. We're up about $300. Just as a quick aside, we were up earlier today. We were up $23,000 when we were right here. We lost $23,000. Excuse me, we're up $13,000. We lost 23,000 in 60 seconds here. So it just shows you how fast it can turn around. Till this horse gets in the barn, we really don't know exactly where we're going to be. And so look at this. We are right at, can you imagine that? 1551 is where we are. I mean, that's crazy. So we're like at, $50 to the good. So let's take a look here. One thing I want to talk to you about is what happened last night. And this is kind of an interesting topic, I think, because we were down at 1 a.m. We opened up yesterday at 6 p.m. We were down 200 points. I quote the cues, by the way. So we're down 200 points, and then it keeps going down, and it gets down to 300 points. And I start selling my crazy Ivans, right? I'm opening up trades, and I'm selling puts into the market. If they're willing to take my puts, I'm willing to sell them to them. And I'm selling a bunch of them last night, until about 1 a.m. And at that point, the market started to turn around a little bit. And so I went to bed, set my alerts, just in case it would go down to 500 points down, I would get up and go sell some more. That never happened. I got up in the morning, and we were down about 200 this morning. And then the market turned around and started going back up. And let's just take a quick look at the Tasty Trade platform over here. And you can see kind of where this was and what happened. I'm trying to get this back here for you. See if we can get it back here. Grab this for you. And you can see this thing, it was down. And at 3 in the morning, it was 1 in the morning. It was way down there at 25,180. And then it came all the way back up. Look at that. It's all the way back up here today. And it's now trading at 25,859. So yesterday, if you take a look at these cues, you can see what I was doing here is I was selling these to open, and I sold one at 6:30 yesterday. Then it went at 10:49 p.m., then 11:05. Then I started buying them back this morning about 10:30. And there were different strikes, but it's the same idea, right? Some of them actually were the same strike. I think I made like 40% or so. So I see guys in the chat room, and I will take questions in the chat room. If you have anything you want me to go over, just let me know. We're looking at a good stream, so good to see you. All right, but let's go back into these. You can see that I started buying these back, and I was buying some of them at $73, and it was still going up. I bought them at 71, so that's at noon, and bought some more, and then at 1 o'clock, I bought some more, and I've got some closing orders out there just to give you a quick idea of where we are. I guess these Tyler or Maria are out there selling. They're selling Hood. That's Maria. I know Hood's my favorite stock this year. If I had to pick a stock, that's the one I would pick. But you can see these are all down now to about 28%, 25%. I was selling at 60% profit. Some of them I sold all the ones I put on last night. I sold for 50% or more, which is, it's unusual, but it happens. And the point is, I was able to do it without any problem because I was only using 30% of my buying power or less. And so at that particular stage, I only had like 15 or 20 on, and I could have 65 on. And so it was no problem. Down markets are great. I love down markets. That goes down, then I'm going to be able to, sell into that market and sell more puts. So, I mean, it's as good as it gets. So let's take a quick look at options Omega again. Looks to me now like we're up about $500. One thing I wanted to go over, I think, well, before I do, I want to mention about the volatility. These violent moves, volatility really, really explodes. And that's what gives you the opportunity to really sell. So I was selling those cues between 6:30 and 11:05. And I was not guessing direction. I was just selling fear. If you really think about it, I was just selling fear. I was never trying to predict the market. I was just letting the market pay me for being scared. They were scared, and so they were paying me. It's as good as it gets. And then when I started buying them back, the fear came out of the options. The volatility collapsed, and the price didn't need to go anywhere near the strikes for me to make the money. It didn't really move that far. So, I made 45 to 60% profit in one day on trades that had weeks and weeks and weeks of time left. Now, remember, this is not luck. It's volatility mean reversion. That's what we're playing. It's the volatility game here. We were playing volatility. Now, you think about it a crazy Ivan trade is when the market makes a sudden, violent move that forces option prices way out of line. And that's what happens. People get scared. And when they get scared, they overpay for puts. And all I'm doing is selling them those puts at the time when fear spikes. And let me tell you, in the old days, before I got really more sophisticated in this, I would be trading 60% of my buying power. So when volatility, spiked, when the market went down, I was one of those scared people because now my buying power is pushing up to 100, maybe 120%, and I'm getting a margin call, and it's like I can't get any sleep because I'm worried about it. Then I talked a lot to the people at Tasty, especially to Marty there at the trading desk, and he said, Rob, what you ought to be doing is really pulling back on that buying power. I said, what, like the 50%? He said, no, like 25 or 30. Then when it goes down, you can kill them. You can sell what you were selling for 50 or $100. You're going to be selling for $200. And he said, you're going to be cleaning up and the thing's going to come back and you're going to make it quick. It's fantastic. And that's exactly what I did. And he said something to me I'll never forget. He said, remember, Rob, these trades are rented. They're not owned. You're just renting the position. You're renting them that insurance. And then when it comes back, you get out of it. It's easy as that. Just think of it as basically renting. And the other thing I want you to think about is that price did not have to be right. Volatility just had to calm down. Price was not really relevant here. It was just that once it came back a little bit, people lost being scared. And so all of a sudden they didn't want to pay for them anymore. So I could sell them right back into the market. There's Maria and Tyler doing something. Now, also one thing I want you to be aware of, that these are not beginner trades. You have to have the proper buying power. You have to know what your exits are. It's no holding and hoping. You got to get out. It's rules-based. It's fast profit taking. Crazy Ivan trades they reward speed and discipline, not stubbornness. Don't get stubborn on these darn things. So today we had everything. We had violent markets. We had some missed trades. I got to talk to you about these missed trades, but let's go ahead and get into where we are here. Are you trading 150 trades or 150 contracts total? No, I'm trading 150 trades. And let me explain to you how Options Omega counts these trades, okay? So what they're doing is when you put on let's say a multiple entry iron condor, you're going to have a short put and a long put, and you're going to have a short call and a long call. I call that one trade, the multiple entry iron condor. Options Omega might call that two trades, right? Because they go on separately. So we do the put side as a trade and the call side as a trade. And then what happens, and there comes our 338s are coming on. Then what happens is, let's say you hit a stop loss on the short put. Well, that's a trade, okay? And then let's say that you have a one trade versus another OTO on the long put. That's another trade, okay? So then you could have the same thing on the call side. You could have a trade for the short call and a trade for the long call. So you could have the put credit spread, the call credit spread going on, the short put coming off, the short call coming off, the long put coming off, and the short put coming off. It could be 6 trades. It could be 2 trades, depending on if they go on and they both expire worthless. They all expire worthless. Could be 2 trades. So the problem is the way that they count them is the way that I have to talk about it. Otherwise, I'd be confused, because if I said, oh, we put on 40 trades today, and you looked at it and said, no, Rob, it says 200 trades, you'd say, what the heck are you talking about? So that's how it is. If you want to look at it, I would expect to be putting on 50 to 100 multiple entry iron condors and or exponential moving average trade. Now, it even gets more complicated, because exponential moving averages Remember, we're going to 20-minute against the 40-minute, and we're only going to put on one side, either the put side or the call side, depending on whether the market is going up or going down. So again, it gets a little confusing when you start counting, what the trades is. What's the longest streak that you've seen since you started back in October? What is the longest streak? All right, talking about, you know what? I don't remember, quite frankly. I really don't look at the charts that much. I don't even look at the profit and loss. This is what I like to look at. I like to look at the long term. So this is 4 months. So in 4 months in the $1 million account, we made 300,000. So if that's 3 times 309, that's around $900,000 in a year. If it consider 900,000 on $1 million, 90% rate of return. Okay. So you can see pretty clearly what kind of ups and downs you have. When you do the back testing, you will see runs of 10 days or 12 days, maybe every 3 or 4 years. That's called sequential risk. And that certainly can occur. You're going to have greater max drawdowns and greater runs probably in the smaller account where you're doing fewer trades. Let's just take a look at that one. So here's the same thing. And here, look, you can have you've got a big up run here. I say up, it's 3 or 4 days. People say, oh, we had a terrible last couple of days. Well, look, we're right where we were. We were right where we were. Even on this down day, we're above that. This day, we're just about there. We were up here. We went up here. I mean, you cannot focus in on these short periods of time. You have to look at the longer periods of time. And I understand that if the whole system is set up against the small account, right? They're going to try and get you out. That's what they're going to try and do. You don't have as much money for longevity. That's why you got to narrow the wings. And when you narrow the wings, your capture rate, look at the capture rate on the small account, 5.3. Look at the capture rate. It's double on the bigger account. It's double, right? There's some PLTR. Who's doing PLTR today? I know Maria did an earnings video on the PLTR. One of the earnings plays, I played a little game with her on her script at the very end and added an Easter egg. If you go all the way to the end of one of Maria's videos that she put on today, you'll see a pretty funny thing in there. So that's a little secret just for the insiders that are in the chat room today. So, all right. So now let's go back and take a look and see where we are. So I wanted to just talk about getting these in and out. I'm supposed to close these out at 25% profit. Sometimes I can be a little obstinate and I try and get a little bit more. But normally I will close these out at 25. These are on 3 days. These are on 4 days. The average is going to be 14 days. And if you think about it, 25% profit every 14 days, 26 times a year is pretty good money. And when you get punched out, when these things go bad, when the market goes really bad against you, there's a whole video I did on the Crazy Ivans. You're going to end up paying about 3 to 6 times as much to get out. So it's equal to 3, one loss is equal to 6 winners. And so you're going to get punched out 2 or 3 times a year. And so you're going to end up being somewhere in that 50 to 75% rate of return. At least that's what I've been getting since I really been doing seriously since 2020. There was a time there where I just put them on every day. People ask me, well, when do you put them on? I used to just put them on every day at 10:30. It drove Maria nuts. And she said, why 10:30? I said, because 10:30, the surf gets nice. It's nice and warm out. The ocean's nice and warm. I want to go outside. And I just don't want to be watching the chart anymore. So I put them on at 10:30. It pissed her off because she watches this chart all day. So does Tyler. But I just, I got better things to do than sit and look around a chart all day. So I just put them on every day. And I figured it, you average in, you average out. It worked just fine. I'm not sure I'm doing any better by waiting for bigger down days. It feels a little better. That's all. A stop loss on my cravings. I don't have a stop loss. I don't. I put these on naked. What I do, and what I'll just show you is, so if I have these on here, let's see, look at these right here. So if I have these on here, and let's say that, let's clear this out. So let's say that this one's at 23.5. So let's say that right now the market's at 25.8. Suppose it drops all the way down to 24,000. When it gets down within 500 points of my target, I do not hesitate. I just slap this thing on right there. That's what I do. And right now you pay 167 for it or so, 166. You're going to pay 300 to 600 when you actually do it. People say, oh, 300, 600, but you only got 175 or 200 when you put it on. Yeah, but I'm going to put that on there, and then when the market comes back, I'm going to sell it, right? So say I pay 600 to put it on, and let's say I can sell it for 200, so it only cost me 400. And so if 400, if I'm getting, 25% of 250, that means it's worth 8 of them. It's 6 to 8 is what it is. And so if you're doing 26 a year and you're going to, throw out 6 or 8 of them, you're still going to have 16 to 20 of them that you're going to win for the year. And so 16 times 25% is 440. Is that what that is? I have to do the math, but it's the numbers are great. It's 50 to 75% is what I've been getting on these things, just like clockwork. They're real easy. The only bad thing is, quite frankly, the worst thing, again, set up for the big accounts. I get it. And let's do a quick time check. You notice the cool clock that Maria got me so that I can see the time check. We've got the 1551s coming in, so we don't want to miss those. So what we want to see is that, and I'll get to your question, Don, in just a second. And hello, I should say hello to everybody. I see in there, Mario's in there, Don, Ace Ventura, Pacer, forget me if I mess these, Pacertron, Umang, Robert, P2E8M, and who else? Malachi is in there, and Megan. Oh, Megan Katz in there. Okay, great. So now, what was the question? What was I talking about? Oh yeah. So we got the 8s in here, and the trick is, I don't have a stop loss on these, and so you do want to go ahead and watch these pretty carefully. If the market starts to drop, just put those on, and you can rent it, or I'll roll it down and out. And to roll it down and out is a pretty simple thing. With Tasty Trade, just say I wanted to roll this position. Let's take this one off. Say I wanted to roll this one down and out. I just go here and I'd say roll the expirations out, and I'm going to roll it out, and I'll probably want to roll this out. Let's see here. So if I want to get the credit down to 0, so I would go ahead and get this credit down to 0, something like that, right? No debit. So right there. So I went from what? I went from 23,500. So I got $1,500 more. I went from 23,500 down to 2,200. And instead of being out 45 days, I'd be out 87 days, right? And you can just keep rolling it down and out, down and out, down and out. I had one in October 14th, when everything went to kaput. I rolled it down and out, and I closed it in January at 60% profit. So that one, I got obstinate again. I just got pissed and decided to keep them. Don't do what I do. Do what I tell you. Matter of fact, this is all, don't do anything that I tell you to do. This is all for entertainment purposes. Only the lawyers told me, don't follow us, do your own due diligence, all that thing. Okay, OTO bot orders. This is a misconception. Tasty does allow OTO bot orders, and they limit you to 4 orders if you're not portfolio margin. If you're portfolio margin, you can get 15. They tell me that's about to change. That's why I keep accounts at both Schwab and Tasty. They have by far the lowest slippage, and they have great commissions. Remember, commissions are pennies, slippage are dollars. I've explained this many, many times before. Slippage is the most important thing by far. If you have 5 cents in slippage, that's $5. If you have 5 cents in commission saving, that's 5 cents. So you want to really focus on the slippage. And I tell Tasty they don't make a big enough deal about it, and I tell Schwab and they don't listen to me. So, all right. So, another thing. This is another thing that happened to me today. I'm such an amateur sometimes. It's crazy. When you're trading in Options Omega, one of the things that they require is, and it's not just Options Omega, it's all bots. Schwab does not allow anyone with a bot to interact with them unless once a week they sign the lawyer's oath that says, we can lose all your money and you can't do nothing about it, right? And Options Omega is kind enough. You'll see it blinking up here. You can't see it because of where I am, but let's take my little face and move it down. I don't know if you can see. No, you can't. See that little yellow triangle that's blinking? You'd think that I would see that, right? And that I would say, oh, there's a yellow triangle that's blinking. I wonder what that means. Well, that means lots of different things. It shows lots of different problems that you might, if there's any problems with you that you have, that's where those problems are shown up. But also it says Schwab is not going to let you trade until you go and sign a little authorization form. And you had to do it once a week. And I forgot. So I will not have, there's some hood that looks like Maria's doing some hood. I know she was talking about that earlier today with me. And so, or with Vera. And so a lot of times we're in the office. We share an office, and I think she's talking to me. She's just talking to the dang AI. She talks to it more than me. But so I could not trade in Schwab. All the Schwab trades were denied. It passed it didn't pass the pre-flight check. And so rookie area, truly rookie area. So Rob, when I try and adjust my OTA order that closes the long, if the short strike gets stopped, it rejects on the OTA order when I tried to reduce it to $1 here at the end of the day. I would never put on an OTO at the end of the day. Okay. That's very risky. Just let the darn thing, don't try and get a nickel, because it's a market order, and you don't know what's going to happen to it. I think it's risky. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. I don't waste my OTOs are precious on Tasty. I should do a thing on how I actually manually, especially during the wintertime when it's cold and I can't go surfing, I manually close my longs a lot of times. So, here we go. Let's go. Let's go to Tasty Trade. Let's go to our, let's get into the SPX here, and let's get into the chart, and let's see where these things come in. Let's go to the trade. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see where we are. And we got a few seconds to go. That clock is 100% accurate, by the way. And we got 22 seconds. So, yes. Okay. So look where we are. Here's where we are. It's going to be in here somewhere. It's going to be mostly exponential moving averages, I think, today. So let's see where these come in. Here they come. Get ready. Let's take out the workings. We just want to see the fills. Look, here's the time slots right here. So we're going to be able to see 1551. Here we go. 4 seconds. Here they come. We all got fills. They're all fills. We got fills right out of the chute. These are all on the call side. So we want this bad boy to go down. These are all calls. Let's see where the number is. These are all calls. The short calls at 69.75. We got, how many did we get today? We got 3, 6, 11, 13, lucky 13. Okay, we got 13 of them. Oh, there they are right there. Okay, look, we got these at, how much did we get paid? We got paid $3.05 on all of them. Oh, look at us. We're already winning. Yay. All right, now let's go over to the chart. Let's get to the darn chart. Where's the chart? Here's the chart. Let's get to the chart. Okay, what'd I say the number was? Somebody tell me. Talk to me, Goose. What do we got here? 69.75. Don't need to see that. I want to see the 69.75. Survey says 69.75. Where do I put in the, I don't know how to put in it. 69.75 is right there, right where we are. Wish I knew how to put in a line there. I probably should have practiced this morning. Okay. Text note, no. Let's see here. Let's see what we got. Pitchfork, no. How about a price level? 69.75 is right there. So we want that to be, we want to be under that number. We want to be right under that beautiful line there is where we want. So let's make this bigger. Let's bring this down. Can everybody see? All right, here we go. All right. Are you going to call into Tasty Friday with your Super Bowl picks? I don't know. February 9th of 2024, who remembers the date, right? But Bill Vinovich was the referee of 157 NHL referees. He was always had the lowest average score of any football game. So throughout his entire career, again, when I was a gambler, I always said there are 3 teams on the field. There's the home team, the visiting team, and the officiating team. And the team that most people don't know anything about is the officiating team. Again, it's just like trading SPX 0 DTEs. It's a math game. It's just a giant math problem. So what I tried to do is to figure out what is it that you always, everyone takes the favorite. Everyone takes, so 85% of the players take the favorite, bettors take the favorite, 85% take the over. So it's simply a math problem. You just take the money line dog and you take the unders, and you're going to win, 57, 58% of the time. It's just, a freaking numbers game. People ask me, what games you bet on? All of them. What was your bet? I don't know. I have no idea what team I bet on. So, and someone got, by the way, yeah, DAB options is our Maria and I's handle in the Discord. And we are very frustrated with there's so many fakers in the Discord. We've been looking at other alternatives. There's something called School that's not too bad. There's some other places where we might even charge $1, maybe $1 a month or $1 a year or something like that, so that we can keep out the fakers. It is an issue. We will never ask you for money. We will never directly message you. Just delete and block them. They use DAB dot options or DAB options dot or DAB options dash or dash DAB options, all kinds of phony baloney crap. I try and, excuse my French, I try and boot them out of there, but it is something that you need to be aware of. Tell your friends, tell your family. If you see them, just let me know. But we've been getting rid of them, and slowly but surely, I think we are causing them to understand that they are not welcome in our home. So, all right, let's take a look quick at the options. Omega, let's see where we are. Look at this. We're up $3,000. How about that? How about that? Let's see how we're doing. Look at this. Look at this. The little account went positive. How about that? It's 1554. It's flipping over to 1555. Let's take a look. See. Look at this. Oh, come on down. We need this bad boy to drop down. Now, remember, there is a huge volume that happens, what's called MOC. That's market on close. And a lot of the big funds will put in a market on close order, and that is released at 350, what that is. And there's a lot of people that will play the opposite of that. And so that's one of the reasons that I suspect that 1351 is such a good number. It's so funny, too. I see so many people on the internet saying, and on TV, oh, the market's going to go up, the market's going to go down. And I always use my 50-50 rule. Like, if you knew the market was going to go up, why would you tell anybody? If you knew a stock was going to go up, you were really convinced, why would you tell anybody? Why wouldn't you just take all your money and put it there? And sooner or later, you'd have all the money. I'll tell you the reason why. No one can predict the market. They can't know, they don't know, and they'll never know. And that's the reality of it. And I can prove it because no one ever has been able to predict the market. You know, the New York Times did a study in 2006, I believe it was, where they looked at all the funds. They looked at 2,500 different funds, and which ones beat the market 7 years in a row? None, zero, goose egg, not a zip. Not one single one, because these funds can't predict the market. You can't predict it. I can't predict it. That's why I trade with math. Math makes money. It's not predicting. It's not charts. It's back testing. Millions of back tests. Someone asked me today, Rob, how about the 3 o'clock the $3 one? It looks like it's going to be tough because the 95% is going to get punched out. Don't you think? I said, you know what? I don't think about it. I don't think about it because I know I did 7 million back tests this weekend. A guy high ranking at Tasty said, you know, Rob, you back test in 1 week more trades than I made in a lifetime on the floor. And I was on the floor for 30 years. In 30 years of trading on the floor, think about that. 30 years trading every single day on the floor, I test more trades than their entire career in 1 weekend, right? So when someone says to me, well, what do you think about this trade? Are you sure this is going to work? I'm absolutely not sure of it, right? All I know is of all the millions of trades, here are the top 200. And I think it's probable that if I put those top 200 on, it's highly likely that they're going to stay. They may not be the top 200, but I bet they'll be in the top 500 or 600. I bet they'll be profitable. I don't know how profitable they're going to be. And then someone says, well, how do you know if it works? How do I know if it works? I'll show you how I know if it works. Right there. See this? That's how I know that it works. Here's 11,500 trades. I'm up 319,000, 90%. That's how I know it works, right? It's scoreboard. The proof is in the pudding, and we just keep getting better at it. That's the fun part. That's what I love. It's just a math problem, and you can get better at it with more experience, and that's what we're doing. And then you just start nibbling around the edges, right? How to do OTOs, how to sell the longs, how to lower the commissions and lower the slippage. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do to make it just a little bit better. While I've been talking, this has not been working out for us. I would like this thing to come down. Whoopsie daisy. Let's take that one. I wish. We'll take that. Let's say I can't take that one. Oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm creating more and more. Let me do this. No tool. How about that? So where's the one that we want? This is the one that we want. I wonder if I can take this out. Can I take this out? Remove drawing. How about that? Yes, I want to remove that one. What about this one? Yes, 69.72. Don't need that. Remove drawing. Okay. Boom, done. And so let's take a quick look-see at where those are. Now we're for it. Remember we got paid $305 for them. Now we'd have to pay $360 to get out. So we don't like that. So let's see where this is. We need this bad boy to come down. What's the time check? Oh man, 40 seconds to go. What is it? 50 seconds to go. Not looking too good today, guys and gals. Hopefully this comes down, but not looking too good. Let's watch this. I'm going to go over here and I'm cheating. I'm seeing it looks like we're up about $3 or $4 grand for the day. Come down. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Oh, man. 25 seconds to go. 23, 22, 20 seconds to go. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Come on down. Don't get excited. No, but I'm not excited. This is fine. I'm a professional, right? I'm a professional. I'm very excited. Come on down. Come on down. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Come on down, you dirty dog. Come on down. Get under that blue line. Yeah, come on. Get under. You know what? That's 67. Oh, where'd it finish? We finished at, it actually takes a few seconds for it to finish. Come on down a little bit more. 678.50. Is that what it is? 670, 670, 69, 76, 61. So we're going to pay $1.61. So what we got, what did we get? We got, someone remind me, we got 305, and we're going to have to pay to get out of this $1. If it came to where I think, here it is. So I think it closed at 69.76.48. Looks like the official number. So we have to pay $1.48 to get out. So still, we're going to make some money, which is great on those last ones. That's, nothing wrong with that. So let's take a look. See, take the green, subtract the red. I went to a public school, so it's hard for me to do that. I'm sure you and the internet can do. Wait, I can even do that math. That's about 8,200. About 8,200 for the day. Not too shabby. And let's see the little account. Look at that. Look at that. Even though I screwed up and didn't put the Schwab thing in this morning, looks like we're going to do okay. We're going to do A-okay. We're going to make 300 and change, right? And now these numbers are going to change a little bit because these longs, they have them in here, and they're going to go to zero. These credits will go to zero, these ones. So, excuse me. So figure that we might lose another 20 or 30 bucks here, and that in this one, we might lose another, how many we got left on here? So we got quite a few trades that are still open. And by the way, here's all the closed ones. If you ever, you can look and see, am I doing the right thing? Am I being fair and honest? I am. So someone wrote in there, you're lying about your winnings. No one can do that. I said, well, check it every day. It is there. It's win, lose, or draw. That is the number. The other day we lost, 40 grand in one day. So it is there. Any other questions? I think Theta Vulture was in here, but then he retracted his message. So anybody else, just another Discord friend? Oh yeah, I got it. All right. I think that's, am I going to call in a Super Bowl pick? So to finish that, Bill Vinovic was the thing. I said, I went on Tasty Trade on February 9th of 2024 and said, I want you to take the under on the game, the under on the first half, under on the second half, under in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and overtime. And then I want you to take the money line dog on the game, the half, both halves, and every quarter. And I went 12-0. And I told him I was betting 10,000 a game bet, which I did. So I won 120 grand. 12-0, they got all excited. In this channel on Thanksgiving, I said, all the bets I was going to do 30 bets. And we went 20-10. So we won like 100 grand or whatever it was. But my point is, gambling is something that is extremely difficult to do compared to options. In gambling, there's a lot of slippage. There's a collection issues. It's not liquid. It's not transparent. There's a whole group of people in there that are just not fun to deal with. And of course, it's against the law in many places. So that's another problem. And there aren't that many choices. I mean, you think about, there's lots of bets. Not really. If you bet on every single basketball, football, hockey, and baseball game, it's really not that many bets. There's more bets I can do in one day in SPX alone, let alone in all the other stocks. So I suggest you stay away from gambling. I very rarely do it anymore. I really like the options. So there's Theta Vulture finally made it back. Good to have you, Theta Vulture. Well, you missed out. Looks like we made about, look at that. Now it's under 8,000. See how it's revising, and the numbers are revising a little bit. We're right around 8 grand for the big account. And in the little account, it revised, and we're right in the neighborhood of $300-400. So do I suggest you put 6 trades a day this week straight up like you published, or are there better P&L times? I I post the numbers that we're trading. I mean, that's it. Those are the numbers we're trading. There are other times that, at 12 o'clock was by far the biggest ones, the most numbers. And I pared it back. I'm trying to show people this can be done. And so I have to think like a small trader when I do this. And by the way, $30,000, that means 30,000 buying power. $1 million means $1 million buying power. Somebody got in all in a tizzy and saying, well, you said you keep 30% back for your, crazy Ivans and 5% back as protection. That's only 65%. And yet you're trading $1 million. Then someone said, aha, I caught you. You're really trading $1.3 million in buying power, aren't you? I said, yes, I am, because, it started at $1 million. And if you've been watching, you'll see that it's up 300,000 and, compound interest. When it's up 300,000, I play with the whole game. I play with what I got to play with. And right now we got 1.3 million. And if we had lost 300,000, I would only have been putting on 700,000. So that's the game you have to play. So when it comes back to the trades, these are the trades I'm actually putting on. Also, I like to do that because I get people that will reach out to me in the Discord or even in the chat room, and they'll say, oh, you're lying because I did the exact same trades and I lost and you won. And I said, well, show me your trade log, right? And either they don't have a trade log and they just were kind of guessing it in their head, or they have a trade. I've had a lot of people, good-hearted people, who said, well, it's different. I said, well, let's take a look. Did you use Tasty? Did you use Schwab? I'm using Schwab in the small account, Tasty in the big account. Which account did you use? Let's take a look at it. And they'll show me, and we look at the trade logs, and we go through it and say, oh, look, I got a fill at such and such a time, or my filled at this strike, and yours filled at that strike. He said, well, how is that possible? I said, well, did you trade with bots or manually? I traded manually. Okay, well, that probably took you 7 or 8 seconds to put on the put credit spread, and then the 7 or 8 seconds for the call credit spread. Yeah, but does that make a difference? I said, yeah. It makes a difference. With a robot, when I'm putting on 4 or 5 trades at once, it's putting on this one and this one at the same time. And by the way, if you say $2 and $2, they don't get filled at $2. That's not reality. What's happening is this one's being offered at 185. This one's been offering at 285, and it's trying to get fills. And every 7 seconds, it's adjusting those fills, and it's trying to get a fill on both sides. And it has to do that every 7 seconds on both sides over 4 trades. I mean, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it with a team of people, okay? You certainly couldn't do it yourself manually. That's why you have to use bots. This is a big boy game that we're playing. We are fighting against the big boys, the ones like BlackRock, huge numbers of people and gigantic, computers and all that and programs and stuff. And we got to beat them at their own game. So we got to be really, really efficient. We got to get in there and get our money and get out. Because they got huge amounts of money. These hedge funds got huge amounts of money. They have to invest every single day. We don't. Market went down 3,000 points today. I'm not going to do any SPX. I'm going to be selling crazy Ivans. Are you kidding me? Why not? It's fantastic. Also, my buying power will go from 30 to 60%, 80% because Tasty will want it or Schwab will want it. So I'll just pull back, and that's the beautiful thing about SPX. You can just stop. You can close it down for a day. Who cares, right? It's great. I love it. The only reason I'm doing SPX, by the way, is because the crazy Ivans, I can only use 30% of my buying power. I used to have 70% of my buying power sitting there, investing in SGov or in treasuries, making 4, 5, 6%, and that's nuts. When I can go out and do this and make 90%, let's call it 50, okay? Call it 50. Okay, but still, whatever the number is, it's way better than 4. That's how I started doing SPX. And I love it. And I like surfing and swimming all day, 6 months out of the year. And so I don't want to just sit in front of the computer all day. So what was the question? Last week you had 2 charts. I'd rather have just 1 chart too. Thanks. Great day today. Thank you very much. Yeah. We're still playing with our technology here, and it just works better doing it this way. So, all right, let's one final review. We'll be able to see. I don't know. Is it 3:15 yet? Where's my clock? There it is. No, it's only 4:08. It's 4:08. So at 4:15, here's what happens. At 4:08, these reprice. They get the numbers from, actually, SPX, the Chicago Board of Exchange gives a number to Oprah. Oprah then gives it to the data feed to Options Omega. It's about a 450 megabyte file every single day. So it takes about a minute or 2 to download. So around 4:16, 4:18, then these numbers will all update depending on your feed, and they update minute by minute, so it depends on when they get it. But right around 4:18, 4:15, 4:20, these will all update, and these numbers will change slightly. I would expect this to come down no more than $1,000, but I mean we're at pretty close to $8,000 here for the day, and in this one we're pretty close to what is that, $350, which is fine, and so you're going to add that onto here. You add 8,000 on here, we're at what, 32, 327, so that's 32% for 3 times a year. Yeah, it's right around 90-ish%. I think this one's actually a little bit better. You add another $200-300 here, is 10 grand, which is 33 times 3, which is what, 99%. So we're actually doing better in the smaller account. The math is what the math is. So, all right, that's the end for today. I hope you have a great trading day. We're going to go get them again tomorrow, and reach out to us in the Discord if you have any questions. If you haven't already, I'm sure you have, but please subscribe and like these. We sure enjoy doing them. And we'll talk to you later. Have a great trading day. Now, Tyler taught me how to do this. I got to close it down somewhere.